Okay, so thank you very much for your time today. Could I ask your name and where you're visiting from?
My name is Danesh and I'm visiting from India, from Chennai, which is a city down south.
Okay. Could I ask why you've come to Japan and a little bit about your time here, for example, how long and so on?
It's been a month. This is my second time in Japan. I visited Japan almost 6 years back, and that's when I decided I'm going to be visiting at least a few more times after that. And I'm a photographer, so I absolutely love photographing in and around Japan. And I feel the pictures are infinitely better when I compare my photos with photos that I take across any other country, including my homeland. It's just that the city has a great vibe. The light is different. The quality of photos are different. There's a lot of character in each photo that I take. So I absolutely love photographing here in Japan.
Wow.
That's one of the reasons why I spent a month. Yeah.
That is such an interesting answer because most of the people I interview, they're talking about it through their eyes, you know, what they see and how they feel. But what you're seeing is through the lens. And yeah, what an interesting perspective.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's also about, it's just that the light is very different here in Japan, I feel. The AQI is very low, so the light falls great on the buildings and the subjects and the streets. It reflects off all these subjects very nicely on people. So there is a lot of character in each photo that I take. Yeah.
Oh, I really want to see your pictures now.
Sure.
Fascinating. So when you talked about Japan having a character to it, or sort of like an extra little something to it that makes those photos really something, could you expand on that a bit?
I think it's more of a feeling. I'm not able to articulate it correctly on why it is the case. But if I have to answer that, there's definitely a lot of colors here in Japan that I feel interacts really well with everything that's surrounding. Like, let's say, for example, right now, if I look behind you, there's yellow, there's red, there's green, there's blue. There's just a lot of colors, which is something that a lot of countries and cities miss. They don't publicly display out colors. It's more of a monotone structure that they have. Like, let's say if you go to New York, it's all glass buildings. You don't have colors. So there is a fair bit of monotone nature to the photographs that you take, which is great in its own. I'm not saying that that's less than what you have. It's just that has a character for itself, and Japan has a character for itself. So, yeah. It's pretty hard to articulate the answer. You need to come here and you need to feel it to be able to get the answer for yourself.
100%. Like, I feel that Japan it's a feeling. It has something about it that is like you can't really truly feel that until you're here. And actually, probably very different to your photos, but I feel like sometimes I see something really beautiful, like the sunset or a city view, and I'll take a photo of it. And then afterwards, I'll look at the photo, but it doesn't have that magic that I felt at the moment of taking it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, your eye resolution is something that's infinitely better than your camera resolution. So that sometimes whenever I'm photographing or videographing across any country that I visit, sometimes I'm too focused on capturing it, so I kind of see the world through the lens that I forget to look up sometimes. So sometimes I feel like, oh, hey, this is great, but why do I miss my memory of being in that place? So sometimes I get that feeling.
I think also, like, not just about, I know nothing about resolutions of cameras and stuff, but more about feelings. Like, I felt the magic of when, dusk happens and the city shifts from day to night, that magic that you feel, I can't capture it in a picture, but I think you probably can.
No, I'm a beginner as well, but it's true. What you're saying is true. It's impossible to capture the beauty completely. You can get an idea of it. Yeah.
So, what kind of photography do you do? Is it like cities, food, people?
It's mostly street photography. But I try my hand in everything. I don't necessarily restrict myself to one style of photography. So it's street. I love photographing cityscapes, tall buildings. Sometimes I feel that I'm not a great landscape photographer, so sometimes my photographs don't come out well when I go to a mountainous area, although I love going to a mountainous area. So I love cities, streets and tall buildings and people and the character that a city has.
Well, I mean, talking of like mountainous areas, you're spoiled for choice here in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Whereabouts have you travelled whilst in Japan?
This time was fairly extensive. I travelled to Nagano, Togakushi, and Kanazawa, that Shirakawa go. I also travelled to Yamagata this time to the Daizenji shrine. So it's snowing very heavily in those areas. So it's a complete contrast of what Tokyo has to offer. I also traveled down south a little bit because I wanted a break from the snow. So I traveled to Fukuoka and Hiroshima. So it's not just photography. I've been wanting to visit the Peace Memorial in Hiroshima for a long time. So that day was no photographs. It was just being in that place and being in that museum. The museum really hits hard. But otherwise, yeah, I also attended the Onyo Fire Festival, which was in Fukuoka this time, in a town called Kurume. I highly recommend everybody to do that. It's basically the village kind of gets together in a temple and they light 6 big torches which weigh a ton each. So it's a fire that's probably like 20-30 feet high, which is a distance of like 200 meters from you, but you can still feel the heat. So it is really interesting. I recommend everybody to attend the Onyo Fire Festival. There are 3 big fire festivals in Japan. The only one that I could attend this time was the Onyo Fire Festival. Yeah.
What did you find most interesting about this sort of like gathering together of the whole neighbourhood and this sort of like festivity?
I can relate to it a little bit because we have a lot of such festivals back home as well in India. The community kind of gets together in the local temple and they have their own set of rituals, festivities that they conduct together as a group. So I kind of relate to it. It was very similar to India in a lot of ways. In fact, what happens in the celebration is very similar to the happenings in the festivals in India. So they light a torch here. We have festivals which happen during the same week where a huge torch is lit in India. More than that, I think it's New Year. Everybody's welcoming the New Year. So I'm sure across cultures they'll have celebrations at the beginning of the year in January.
Yeah. Just personally for me, the way that people get together for a matsuri or a festival or one of these events throughout the year, it's really lovely. Like possibly, like I don't know what's going on and whatever. I don't know like the meaning behind these things, but just the atmosphere is so great.
Yeah. I definitely felt that in the festival in Onyo. There were a lot of families. So these torches are actually being held by many men in loincloths, mostly teenagers. I think it's more of a coming of age celebration because I definitely saw a lot of teenagers drinking sake in front of their families and their families taking photos and they were lighting up fires and getting ready for the celebration. So I might be completely wrong, but this is just from my observation of the festival where I definitely noticed a lot of teenagers in carrying the big torch. In fact, a lot of ash and hot sparks from the torch actually falls on them. So they bear all of that and still go ahead and carry the big torches. So it was definitely, it was both personal at the same time and also communal at the same time. And that's what I felt when I attended the festival.
Great perspective.
Yeah.
And it does sound like it could be a sort of coming of age thing of like, yes, this culture of like gambarimasu. Like,
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I know there will be a lot of backstory to that festival. I need to read up more about it. So if I got anything wrong, I apologize too.
Well, Mina-san, please comment, let us know about this festival, plus any other festivals that you recommend for people visiting Japan.
Yeah.
Maybe on your next visit here you can go to some.
I'm going to be coming again.
All right, well, I will let you get on with your last day, is it?
Yes, this is my last day here in Japan.
Enjoy your last few hours here, and maybe see you next time.
Thank you. Good luck with your YouTube channel.
Thank you. That was great. It was lovely. Thank you so much.